All right, welcome everyone to January Circulation SIG for Koha. Welcome back. So hopefully that upgrade's coming together. I know those early adopters, we were having lots of issues at the beginning, but seems to be leveling out a little bit. One big one me and Charlie were talking about right at the beginning was overdue notices, having an issue with them even going out. We didn't even realize apparently since November, no overdue notices have been going out for us, which is a major problem. We think maybe something with the what is it, the cron job, but not sure. Anyone else experiencing that?
We haven't. John, are you a fines library?
Not it's dependent by branch, but most of them aren't. But even like renewals or like a lost item, those ones aren't going out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very strange.
I imagine you would
What?
have heard from your patrons a lot sooner if you had fines.
Yeah, exactly. They were like, "Oh, it's fine. We don't need to know about that. I can just
Yeah.
keep this item forever." Cool.
What release is this in regards to?
24.
2405?
Yep, yep.
Okay.
But like all the other notices are going out, it's just those overdue ones.
And it's doing a weird thing on my end where we have both English and Spanish that we've put into our template. And in the first one, we'll have one title in the English portion, but in the second and in the subsequent notice, it will have different titles for the Spanish version, and it'll just copy paste the Spanish version with different titles, and there would only be one Spanish English translation at the very top because that's how we set it up. So we're not exactly sure, but I'm so glad that I'm not the only one who's I thought I pressed something and it broke, and I was like, great, there goes Wednesday for me.
So do you send your notices out by email? Is that what the problem is? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so these are specifically for email notices. We have our text and our voice messages sent out through Unique. So I can go to MessageBee and handle that myself, but it seems to be only affecting the overdue emails for me. I'm not sure about John.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. All the only email, I don't even know if we do voice ones, but the text ones go through Shout Bomb, which we've been moving everyone over because there was also an issue with like SMS coming through Koha too. There was like it wasn't coming out consistently. So
That's been our big problem is the SMS messages, and we're actually looking to change to either Patron Point or MessageBee for those messages, just for that reason. But like I mean, we have like a continual problem with emails that say they've like, if you check in Koha, the message has gone through, but it really hasn't gone through. That's kind of an ongoing thing that we've had for a while. But like we do a third notice and we actually mail that. So eventually they get their notice, but that's, we have had the issue, especially if people are only choosing text messaging. They're not getting those notices. We don't use voice message at all.
so if all else fails, they at least get the mail one.
Yeah, they get the really nasty one, and then
Yeah.
Which vendor do you use, if I may ask?
for
For I believe you said text messages you also do, because you're not with Koha text messages?
no, we do Koha text messages. We don't have we don't use Unique or anything.
Oh, okay.
But you're thinking of switching over.
Yeah, we're thinking of switching over because what happens is, I'm sure y'all have experienced, they think that we're spamming you, and so then this will be fine for a while, and then we start getting messages that we're not. able to send them and whatnot. So we're gonna have to go to a third party. So
If people had good luck with MessageBee.
Yeah, we've been using it for years for email and text messages and haven't had much issue. We haven't had any issue with the SMS messages, and I know that UMS just did some work about getting approval from the cell phone vendors so that they're not marked as spam. I can't remember exactly what the terminology for that is, but that's the short version of it. And it actually allows two-way SMS messaging. So if they text back to your message that you send them on the MessageBee portal, you can actually write back to them if you want to. We choose not to, but
It's a nice option. That's cool.
yeah.
so was it difficult, or did you have a lot of hiccups, or was it seamless, or do you recall?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
It was kind of muffled.
The setup when you first started using it, do you recall, was it difficult, or was it an easier process?
We were actually a beta tester for MessageBee on Koha. So it was a very long and arduous process. So I'm not the right person to ask, but now it's working great. But, because we were the first one to go down that path, it was a little more tedious. But once we switched everything over, it was really nice. Our messages look great. Our email messages look great. And our text messages are very easy. We don't send out as many text messages as I thought we did. I was actually kind of surprised at how few we send out. Most people choose either library app notifications, which we have, or they choose email.
So that thing with the carriers, with the cell phone carriers, was that like a MessageBee thing? They like reached out to them? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
cool.
sent it in one of their newsletters about the work that they were doing to the carriers and trying to get them approved or so that they're not marked as spam. I mean, we still get a lot of people who reply stop or unsubscribe, or there's no method for that right now. Like, so if they reply with one of those, I have to go into their account and then I just make a note, say, hey, this person requested to have their SMS turns off.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I have, that might be a really silly question. Because we don't use text messaging. What is the advantage of using both email and text message?
For us, a lot of our patrons, especially like 30 to, the ones who like using it are on their phones a lot. That's their main form of receiving their messages. Some people don't have emails, and we allow that because if they don't have emails, then this is like, at least there's a way to still get in contact with them.
Okay, well, that's the first I heard. Somebody doesn't have email.
You would think that email would be the first priority, but apparently some people, so I can name a couple of people, for example, a couple of homeless people come in and they have like one of those like, what do you call it?
Okay.
Budget phones, and they don't know how to create an email. So, nowadays, like with email, you need to have a phone number in order to sign up for Gmail, for example. I don't know if that's still a thing, but to verify your identity, I guess. But
yes.
those are a couple of ones I've dealt with, if anything.
Cuts out a step, you don't have to check your email. It just comes straight to you. Don't even have to think about it.
Yeah. It's just more, people like text messages better than emails, apparently. I have for myself, I have over 2,000 of my personal email, and I always check my text rather than my email.
Ooh, Michelle, what's this about the cron job order? That sounds like my issue.
Yeah, we had an issue where the notices weren't being sent properly. And I'm trying to think, I think it was like our auto renew ones that weren't going out properly. And so what we ended up doing we work with Bywater. And so we ended up going through and having them reorder some of the cron jobs, and that took care of that issue for us, that then the stuff started going out properly.
Interesting, just reorganize it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely gonna have to reach out to them for that. How's everyone else's upgrade stuff going? The lag getting better? Any lag still, or any weird messages popping up?
Our large bib records, we have some that have like 150, 200 items on them for some of our laptops. Super slow.
Just so many items.
And then the not being able to sort them by their status on those big bib records is a big deal for us.
Like when you try to sort them, it just takes forever, or it's not even an
We
option.
lost, yeah, we lost that ability to sort by status. And we have 3 campus libraries. So if we want to see all the available ones at a particular library, we have to download it and then sort it.
Let's
Yep,
see.
that one.
Oh, there we go. Jason knows. Yeah,
In
yeah.
discussion. So if you haven't commented yet, comment, because that'll bring attention to it.
Yeah, I just got recently a bunch of tickets about the items was not checked in, like the red lettering that pops up now when you like scan in an item. Here's the bug for it. But it looks like it got pushed to 24/11/11, so it's in the works. But I remember someone saying they like suppress that, so like it's not as in your face when the bold lettering of this item is not checked out.
Forgetting if that was something I think when I went to one of the koha-US meetings with George, he had like script for us to input on our own, and it turned it off, or it made it less, unless I'm misremembering which one.
Oh, that sounds familiar, actually.
Yeah, there was a meeting where he helped with like code, and I know nothing about code except what I'm like learning with SEKL, and it turned something off, or it turned something off, or made it like I'm not
What's
able
it?
to access it anymore. I wonder if it's this
It looks like some jQuery, maybe.
jQuery. Yeah, I remember it was something about jQuery. I might be just throwing us all out of sync. So if anything,
No, you're right. George definitely wrote something to help with that. It may be in the jQuery library, but the wiki's not loading for me, so I can't dig for you. But the good news is this one's also been backported to 24.05.06. We're on 24.05.05 right now, so
That's what we're on, yeah.
I
So one
assume
more
we'll be
point.
on 06 soon. So this will be a non-issue.
Oh, cool, good to hear. So probably we'll even skip that jQuery. Just wait for that. We're just jumping to 24/11.
Yeah, and 24/11 Bywater is getting upgraded in March. So worst case scenario, a couple more months without it. But usually they'll push out those bug fix patches at least once a month. Well, once a month because they release once a month.
You have to
Yeah.
request those point releases.
No,
They just
they
do 'em.
should just be pushing those out for everybody.
Cool.
Yeah, we're actually testing 24.11 now on our test servers. So we're on 24.11.01, and then we'll soon be going to 24.11.02 before it goes on to production for everybody in March. So
What are your-
I'm trying to break it as much as I can.
How does
I
it
haven't had anything yet.
The upgrade schedule for Bywater Partners is listed here if anybody is curious and didn't know. I know that I had to stumble across it, so I found a few things on the test server that aren't like circulated, but just in general, the upgrade has upgraded the underlying code, the bootstrap code from like version 3 to version 5 in the staff client. So some of my customization stuff is broken as far as nav menus and stuff. So you that's something to check for. And I'm sure that if you've got that on your system and you're not versed in it, Lucas probably put it on your system, so he's probably cleaning that up for you anyways.
Thanks, Jason. We'll look for it.
Did that break a lot of stuff for you, Jason?
It was mostly like drop down menus, and then I have some like tabbed content that changed, and then the badges, like I'm using badges in places, but I was using I was using an older class. I was using labels instead of badges, so some of that broke. It's just like slightly weird looking stuff. But it's mostly easy to fix. It's just a matter of adding, going back and revisiting the underlying code that I wrote. And the community's been great about like jumping and fixing those, like the base level koha stuff. So you shouldn't notice anything unless it's like custom, other than curbside pickups. I think there's a bug about that. The tabs are broken right now on that, but I assume by the time we all go live with it, that'll be fixed.
Yeah, we don't have as much custom stuff as you got going on.
Has anyone had any issues with their plugins, like maybe it not being updated? And it was being a little wonky. I think we had something with batch permissions that we were having an issue with. It wasn't updating correctly. So a ticket needed to be put in, but has anyone had any issues with other plugins?
Just like working with the newest upgrade.
Yeah. Because usually whenever we do an upgrade, I think this is the second time it's happened, so it's not all the time, but we've needed them to upgrade or update our plugins just because it wasn't syncing correctly.
Yeah, I don't think there's like an automated way to update your plugins at this point. You have to actually go in and manually do it. So that's probably what it is. It's clashing with an old version of an older plugin.
Probably a ticket for each plugin upgrade. Isn't the batch permissions being added in as like a normal feature soon?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Feel like I heard that, but could be mistaken. Because we use that all the time. We keep having an issue with the ILO request table loading. Looks like it fixes in 2505, but that's a ways out.
This isn't anything to do with any enhancements, but is anyone using the self-checkout module? So I've enabled everything that I needed to, created my patron. But whenever I try and use the CGI, the link that they give us in Koha and add it to my Aspen link, it's not allowing me to do so. I think it's because we're redirecting our original link to a new one for slowlibrary.org specifically, but I'm not sure if that's the reason why it is. Oh. Were you, oh, but have you, is there a reason why that would how are you with yours? Like, when you set it up, did everything go correctly, or like, did you need to talk to them about like certain features or issues?
No, I mean, we're not using Aspen at all, so I'm not sure how that interconnects. But for us, I can just put in that CGI at the end of our OPAC. So our OPAC is at seekandfind.org. We've got a custom domain. So I just put that self-checkout slug at the end, right after seekandfind.org, and it takes me to the login page.
Okay. Okay, that helps. Thank you.
You know, we have Aspen, but I feel like ours is working, but I'm not the one who set that up, so I'm not sure on that.
Yeah, as far as I know, you just add it to the end of your OPAC and it should, you know, jumpstart it, but for some reason it's not showing me the screen. It's giving me like an error message.
Is your so does your regular OPAC link point to your Aspen layer? Like
Yes, it
if you
does.
okay, so you should have a Bywater link too. That's like ours is like SEKLS dash Bywater solution something bywatersolutions.com. If you use that link instead of your Aspen link, that may work.
Okay.
You
I
have to,
might need to talk to IT because they're the one who changed it to the slowlibrary.org. They redirected it from the bywater.com to slowlibrary.org. So yeah, so I think that's exactly it. So otherwise I'm
Yeah. So whatever it's being redirected from should still be there. So like ours is sekls.bywatersolutions.com, which directs to seekandfind.org, but that sekls.bywatersolutions.com is still there. So like whatever your version of that is, I think you could use that for your self-checkout. Like put the CGI thing after that.
on that note, I'm gonna try it right now, so I'm gonna mute myself. Thank you.
those are people running into.
This isn't a release item either, but we're going to probably start having guarantors in our system for a subset of our student body who are still in high school and under 18. That'll be something new for us. I'm just wondering if there's any tips or things that we need to be sure we're taking into consideration when we do that. I know one of our questions is like, how do we handle the notices?
Like, do all the notices go to the guarantor or like to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
There was an issue with guarantor when we first added the new upgrade, but I feel like they fixed that at least. But the notices, it's a good question.
I'm trying to think. Like I know there's the system preference. I thought there were other ones. Not the system preference. There's one that that one talks about sending emails to both guarantees and guarantors. And I have that set to disable. But I think for us, we just like the guarantee and the guarantor, like we're mostly public, so it's parent-child relationships, and they just have the same email address in their primary email address field, and they both apparently they both don't get the message. The parent gets the message. But I don't know that we've run into any major problems. My big stick with that is like whenever I want to batch delete patrons, I need to go in and delink the relationship.
It
So-
prevents the delete if they're connected still.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Well, I don't know. So I didn't know this, but you can do batch deletion from patron lists. Previously I'd always been submitting them to Bywater for deletion, and anytime I submitted that to them, they would just like kick back the ones that were still linked for me to clean up myself. So I haven't actually tried a batch deletion with the patron list with guarantee guarantor relationships, but it's probably cleaner to delink them. I don't know. I'll have to test that a little bit. The other thing related to guarantee relationships is the privacy settings. So, and that's done on the child's account. So like they can log in, the child account logs in and gives the permission to the parent, whether they can see their checkouts and whether they can see their fines.
It's handy. So the child gets to decide, technically.
Right.
Is there a fast way to unlink a guaranteed guarantor?
I usually just go into the kid's account and delete the connection. Like I have to add it in one at a time. I don't know of a batch way to do that.
I think the only way we had figured out to unlink accounts entirely was just one at a time, but by changing one of them from like a city card to a county card and then back again. But I'm wondering if there's an actual way you're supposed to be doing that.
I think if you just go into the child's account and edit it, there should be the option to delete the guarantor, and that will delink it. I'm looking.
Yeah, I think our main, so, we're an academic library. Up until this point, we've just treated the tech high students like any other student. But we're going to be taking on what has been a separate group that circulated all their required materials. And so like we kind of are having the privacy, I think, heartburn that like it's one thing to let a guarantor see required stuff that, like a textbook for class versus something they're choosing to check out. So yeah, that's part of our, and I know we're going to, our email notices, we struggle with, we send it to the student email, those ones, we know those get delivered. They don't go to a spam folder. They're marked from a safe sender, but we struggle to send anything to a personal email without it getting scooped up as spam. And so we're not really sure if we'd even be able to include the guarantor and have it successfully send. Like it kind of as a last ditch, you're going to be billed kind of thing.
So like the school email works fine, no spam, and then yeah,
Mhm.
we're running into that too. Any like Gmail, those
Yep.
kind of ones. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They have like some new settings going on, messing with that. Like it doesn't even show up in spam or anything, it just doesn't even go through because it thinks it's questionable.
I did pull up a patron that I can show you for delinking. If I can figure out what I did with that. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this patron is a child and it's linked to a parent. So if I go into the edit, you can see that the guarantors are the mother, and apparently I was messing with spousal relationships too. But like just going to the edit and clicking remove and then saving should take that, break that link. And then I have a weird error up here, but you can see that that person is no longer linked to this style account. And that's usually what I do to break the connection.
Thank
Then you
you.
can delete
I
from it.
think, yeah, I'm wondering if we lost that option when we eliminated allow guarantee guarantor relationship. Because I don't see that anymore. I don't know if we ever
Yeah.
saw it in the first place, but I've got an example pulled up. And I don't see a section for where the parent information lives at all, just that it's linked.
Probably anyone that had a guarantee guarantor before you changed it and then hit it, then they're still there, but you
Yeah.
can't see it. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh,
So you'd want to go like flip it back on, delete it, then turn it back off.
if I could find all of them at one time and just take care of it all in one go and have staff not put any in there while I'm working on it. Yeah.
Like a
Thanks for
report
showing
or
me that.
something.
Mm-hmm.
What else people got? I think I added a bunch of holds queue improvements, which will be nice, more customization in just the holds queue table.
I have a question about holds and missing. We're only a one branch place, so we use the holds to pull feature instead of holds queue. But I think either way, what do y'all do when you can't find a book on the shelf? Right now, we're having 3 people look for it before we put it to missing. Is that best practice? The annoying thing about that is when you're looking at the holds to pull, we'll put a note, a non-public note in the item saying couldn't find, because we don't have a lot of multiple copies of items. So maybe there's a better way for us to do that. Maybe using the non-public note as denoting we looked and couldn't find it is not the best place to note that. But can y'all help us make that more streamlined? Because what's happening is oftentimes 2 things happen. People will look for it and maybe we'll look for it for a full week or something when we should have put it to missing long ago. Or I'm out there looking for a book, but somebody already pulled the hold and we're just like ships passing in the night, you know? Polaris had a way that you could locate the item and it would put it in a transit status in between the shelf and chicken, which was really cool. And I liked that a lot because it got it off the holds to pull, but it let everyone know that it wasn't where the item was. So is there a better way for me to do this to denote when something has either been located or to denote when something is missing? What do y'all do?
Well, for
Yeah.
us, oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
I was gonna say for us, when we can't find it, we have 8 branches. So we mark it missing if they can't locate it. We have a recently returned status, so that one is left alone. What I was thinking is you could maybe use your damaged status. That's kind of what we use to track our claims return searches. To see how many times somebody has searched for an item. So, you know, if there's a field in the item record that you're not using, that maybe you could flag it somehow so you didn't have to constantly like have to add and delete item notes. But that's not going to keep it from appearing on your list. The only thing that would do that is actually changing the lost status of the item to missing.
And then that would take it off the list, right?
Yeah, that would take it off the list.
I kind of, am I the only one? Like I kind of have it where I want more than one person looking for the item. Do y'all do that or?
Depending on how many branches you have, like, do you have this just the
Just
one? branch?
one.
Oh,
We're
okay,
adorable.
perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
So maybe I'm the issue with waiting for 3 people to look for it when
So like if someone pulled it and then scanned it, right, it should,
it would fix the missing
it
issue.
would,
Yeah.
Would put
So-
it in transit at that time, right? Once you check it in.
so at least like, you know, someone pulled it at least if you
Yeah.
didn't talk to that person.
That's true. Because we also work with tablets on the floor, so they could do that as soon as they pull the item. And
It
then
could-
when y'all move it to missing, so we have our circulation area and then we have our processes folks. The processes folks are looking for missing items right now, but should maybe if I move something to a different status, even if it's, can I make a status and have it like circ missing or something? Then I could run a report for circ missing and have my folks recheck for stuff we couldn't find. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, and you can
Yeah.
also build your report to have a date filter.
Yeah, okay.
So if you want to miss that missing or was it would be lost on.
Yeah, that's sort of our workflow. We have sort of a stair-step system. So like if an item can't be found within a week, we say, then it gets marked missing. And then my libraries are supposed to run a missing report once a month, look for it again. If they can't find it at that point, they mark it lost. And then from lost, it goes to the deletion bin. But our situation is different because we have multiple branches. So like if other copies are available, we tell them to mark it missing way faster so that the whole will move on and not.
Yeah.
But that's our workflow is about similar. So like you
I
can
could take
definitely
your
go and make
workflow
a
and just speed it up though.
yeah, and you
Yeah.
can definitely make different lost statuses and just sort of have your instructions, your workflow built around those different lost statuses.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
add
what
some
I-
new authorized values to that drop down and
Yeah.
then help differentiate.
I like that.
And you can also batch item update or modify those items. That's what I do. So I run that report and then just batch update them to the next missing status after I print it. So that way I know it's already been searched. Like, you know, your search 1 is 3 days, your search 2 is 7 days, your search 3 is, I don't know, 21 days or whatever you want.
Yeah,
So you just build yourself 3 separate reports.
Yeah.
Or you could do it all in one report if you want, but
no, I like that. Okay, thank you all very much.
I have a question for you. Do you have an AMH? Excuse me, do you have an AMH to sort all your materials and, oh, okay, then don't even worry about it.
Yep.
Jason, how many branches do you have?
We're at 51 libraries now, and we're adding another one this summer and going live. We have one library that's coming up like from the ground up. They're building the building right now.
Oh, wow.
And we expect them to go live later this year, so we'll be up to 53. I know John's got way more than that though, right?
Yeah, we're close to 180 right now. Just added a couple more, yeah. For ours, for that flow, like if a library can't find it, they hit like cancel on their holds queue and then it just gets kicked to another branch to look for it. The issue is if that's the only copy of that title, that's something else, but yeah. Because once a month I go through the holds queue and look at items that are stuck and then try to reach out and have them, you know, look for it or let the requester know it's gone. Look through Prospector or something. That's our statewide sharing program.
So as a consortia, do you have a separate instance for Koha for every single consortia? Or is
Just
it
yeah,
one
just
system for everybody?
yeah, one system for everybody. Well, two technically, because we also have prison libraries, and that's like a whole different security issue, and that's been fun trying to lock that down. No one's allowed to know where items are going or coming from, so
Wow.
they don't share any. You know, they could put contraband in there or something. But yeah, the public libraries and academic, all those are on the same one. And then they all have their own instance of Aspen and they can customize that, their discovery layer.
Kudos to you both. Consortia scare me.
Just
Jon?
one little thing changes and it starts breaking stuff.
I might email you later, John, about that on how you have your prison, you said prison libraries, right?
Yep.
How you have that set up, because we're starting to we have a program with our juvenile hall and our nearby jail. And we're trying to figure out the best way to work with them without it being like open to everybody else kind of thing. So if I could email you
very-
later and ask you, or call you, like,
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, hit me up, send me an email and we could figure something out. But yeah, a lot of that we've already, tested and had issues with. And so we worked out a lot of the kinks already. So
okay, perfect. And oh no, you sent the email. Okay, thank you.
oh yeah. But yeah, that's been like 3 years in the works now. It's finally coming together. We're adding them to this statewide courier system, so now like prisoners are able to request like any item they want practically.
You also have your outreach vans or have outreach vans where you have that as a pickup location?
Yes,
Really?
we just
Oh.
started doing, I don't know, we just started adding that in. We have we're doing like 4 test prisons for outside courier drop off.
I will also include that in the email.
Perfect.
Thank you.
And there was a koha-US a couple years ago from Colorado.
Yep,
Can't
that's where
remember
we
who it
are.
was.
My boss probably did it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because that's how I first learned about detention facilities using Koha and the Koha OPAC, because we just turned on, or we built, so we use Aspen as our public discovery layer, but the internal detention center facility is going to use the Koha OPAC, since we can lock that down considerably. And now they're building it as an app to access it on their tablets in the facility. So the inmates or residents or whatever we call them will have access to the catalog so they can see what's at our detention center facility library. But for us, our library is, it's part of our Koha, so it's not broken out like a separate instance or anything like that. So, because nothing travels to them, they have their own collection, which made it a lot easier.
Yeah, first we had it where just the prisons would kind of share amongst themselves, certain ones. And so each prison has their own instance of Aspen discovery that they can search on, and they love it. Like being able to see the covers and like create lists and place holds has opened up a whole new, thing for them. We even just added where we are able to print the entire catalog because some patrons aren't allowed to use computers. They're not allowed to leave their location. So we just added it where, yeah, you can like print the entire catalog and you can filter it down by, genre and stuff based on what the person wants, which is
Oh, that's
been
really
in the
cool.
works for a while. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have our jail program set up very, we have people bringing in books that are requested at the jail, like we give them pieces of paper for them to fill out and stuff like that. So if there's a way that I can set it up so it's directly through Koha or even Aspen, then that would be, and Aspen, then that would be great. Maybe save some work for people.
Because the Koha login is like locked down by IP address. So like only, on location can you get it. And because like some inmates work at the libraries too. So we have a specific like clerk accounts that we create in Koha for them. So they can't see very much in there either. which has been a trick.
That's really cool. Right.
But yeah, my biggest issue has been that overdue notice. I'm definitely gonna mess with the what was it, the cron job order. That sounds like the fix.
So I only got part of that. Like none of your overdue notices are sending at all to any branches?
No, for 2 months now, no overdue notices to anybody have been going out, specifically over email.
That's I'd have like pitchforks and torches and stuff. I double checked mine and it looks like they're sending okay. So so I'm not sure. I mean, unless your triggers got turned off or something, that I can't think of
Would
a
those be
reason.
triggers in Koha?
Yeah, in the tools section, you've got the notice triggers where you set like how many days for each notice to go. But there's no reason that would have been unset.
And no one noticed at the beginning because patrons didn't really care or notice, but yeah, it seemed to be a failure in the cron job or something.
Yeah. Are you sending from all the notices come out from one address, or does each library have their own email that it's sending via? Like, do you have the Amazon Web Service thing set up through Bywater?
Yeah, that's how it is. Is that how yours is?
Yeah, for the most part. I have a few of them that are using SMTP, which is okay. But for the most part, we have it where we've added their like Gmail or Yahoo or whatever to the map, and then they send out via their addresses to the patrons, and that's actually been quiet. Like like it's been a problem historically, and I don't know if people just stopped complaining, but like people haven't complained about it in a long time.
Did that fix it where you like have a different email for each location we've been where they send out from? Because we've been considering that.
Yes and no. I mean, they're still getting the spam filter problem, still a problem. They're getting caught. I get bounces to my email for failures all the time where the patrons have blacklisted the library's email address, which has increased their rejection rate and stuff. So it's still a problem, but it's not like what people complain to me about like they used to anyways. Like, and text messages have gotten better since we moved to Twilio, so I don't know. Our messaging is working. That doesn't help you at all.
That's good.
Other than to say that it's possible.
At least we know there's a fix out there or something. I'll definitely check the notice triggers, but it seemed to happen, from the last upgrade. But no one
No.
else, there doesn't seem to be a major, like it's not affecting everybody.
Have you looked at the reports? Is it saying that it was sent from Koha, but then they're not getting received on the other end, or is it saying they failed in Koha?
I don't know. I'll check that.
For mine, it's sending through Koha fine. The ones that I did get an example of with the issue for overdue. I haven't looked through anybody else to see if nobody else is receiving overdue messages, but the ones that are sending out from us are going through Koha.
And it says sent in their like notices area.
And then there's just like that message, like the Spanish part and then the English part, and all of it having like different titles kind of thing.
But they're still getting it at least.
Yeah.
It's just not all the right info.
No, yeah. There's just, and it's only one example. I heard about it this morning, so I just need to do some more investigation.
That definitely sounds like a template issue. Either that, or since you have the language, like we don't have the language packages turned on, so we don't, or do you have the language?
I don't have the language package turned on. I just put the English template in and then the Spanish, and they're in one message. And oh dang, if that's the issue, then that would be, but that's why I'm confused, because before it used to send the English message with the one title, and in the Spanish, it would send the same title. And
Mhm.
it would just tell you this one book is overdue, and it would do it to both. But now it's including multiple Spanish translation for one English message, and each book in there is incorrect. So maybe I'll include that in with my ticket to Bywater to see if they can help me with my template.
Yeah, it sounds like a templating issue on that
Oh,
for
okay.
sure.
Okay, thank you.
Did the language package recently, I think, could that be what's causing the issue?
I haven't turned that one on yet.
Because we
It-
added a different, your default would be English, and then now we have like a Spanish drop down option. And so you
It
have to
might be
create
worth
a whole new overdue
including-
notice.
Yeah, like if you've got a ticket to Bywater, you might like note that maybe the issue coincides with that. I don't know for sure.
Because it could have been around the same time that this happened, so that's a good point. Cool.
And no one's having issues with their holds queue, right? Like especially those with like multiple libraries where it's sending the item that needs to be picked up is at library A, but it's actually in library B. It's a library B book. We don't have floating on, so like it should be getting the book from library B, but it's sending it to holds queue for library A, for example. No one's.
We only run into that when like a library cancels a hold, and then that makes the item available at that library. If they don't check it in again, then it doesn't get put back in transit, and then we start running into holds on the wrong queues, which is a processes issue.
That's
But
what we have too, yeah.
we haven't run into it like more so than usual.
It's usually like an expired hold, and they're like, we don't have this book. You're like, oh, double check your shelf, and usually that does the trick.
But I remember there was a bug about it a while back, and but I mean, if you're not experiencing it, I'm pretty sure mine's gone as well. I haven't seen a recent example of it, so knock on wood.
Oh yeah, keep it going.
Yeah.
I gotta bounce to another meeting. It was good seeing you guys.
Good to see you.
See ya. Well, sweet everyone, we got a couple more minutes if anyone has some final thoughts or issues. We'll be meeting again February 19th.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Well, sweet. I think we'll call it there, guys. Thanks so much for meeting up, and see you all again in a month.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Hey, have a good one. See ya.